Good day, mates. It is it's a rainy day in Sydney. And I don't know, maybe that's a good thing because there's not so many people out here. And the last time that I was standing right where I'm at right now was several years ago. And I was here hoping to go tour the Opera House, the iconic Opera House. It's one of the most recognized buildings in all the world. It is right up there with the White House and oh goodness gracious, all types of other famous buildings around the world. So the last time I was here, I was all anxious to go see the White House, and at the time Prince William and his bride Kate were here, and they were giving a tour of the White House, and I couldn't get in. I saw them go by in their motorcade though. That was kind of exciting. But I ended up on one of these ferries that are right here. You see this ferry just getting ready to take its passengers to someplace around the waterfront here in Sydney. But anyway, I am I'd say it's a disappointment that it's raining, but it's not too much of a disappointment. As I look back over the year that I've been in Australia, this is probably the first day that I've had like this with rain coming down pretty heavy, you know, when I wanted to go do something. So I certainly can't complain. So I'm gonna bring you along for a tour of the Opera House as best I can. I chose a tour that is about the architecture of the building. I thought that might be an interesting tour. And as I am walking along, this very same boat is just heading out, and there you see the bridge. And it would have looked nicer on a sunny day for sure, but that's okay. There'll be other sunny days. I don't know if there'll be other days in Sydney as far as I'm concerned, but perhaps there will be. So right now I am probably not even 5 or 10 minutes from the Opera House itself. It's just around the corner, as the saying goes. And I am going to be one of 20 people that's on this tour. The tour cost me probably about $30 US if I'm not mistaken. So I'm sure it'll be well worth it. You know, to be able to watch New Year's Eve back when I get back home, see New Year's Eve and see the fireworks going up over the harbor bridge here, and the Opera House in the background, and to say I've been there. I've been inside. I've walked that bridge, and I've been inside of that beautiful building. So let's go, and we'll go do the tour. And there would be the icon, the Opera House. Look at that. And you'll see more boats coming and going into the in and out of the harbor, I should say. But this is it. I am gonna tour the Sydney Opera House. It'd be wonderful to go see a performance in this beautiful building. It's going to be interesting to learn a little bit about the architecture of it as well. Quite the icon. Let's see if we can't find our way inside. Enter to the Opera House this way. Look at, I'll give you a nice close-up shot. Boy, wouldn't it be nice to sneak in a drone flight? But I don't think I'm going to I don't think I'm gonna be risking a drone flight at all. Right now, I just need to find my way to the ticket counter, wherever that may be. Well, I made my way to the, I guess the lobby, if you want to call it that, and I will just give you a little bit of a tour. They have the whole timeline of the building of this. 1957, designed by Danish architect Utzon. The Sydney Opera House has been recognized by UNESCO as a masterpiece of creative genius. So you can see, hopefully I'll be able to share some of this with you once we get inside. Look at some of these pictures here. There's your drawings. Very nice. Gotta be careful not to miss the start of the tour. Here's a picture of the construction. I got 5 minutes before the tour actually starts. I'll share some more of this with you. It's always interesting to see pictures like this. Here's an interesting one. Not a job for somebody afraid of heights. As the light moves across it during the day, it changes its form and shape. It's full of moods. Max Dupin. The human spirit must sometimes take wings or sails and create something that is not just utilitarian or commonplace. Queen Elizabeth II. Very nice. Alright, so now we're going to go and we're going to actually go inside and learn a little bit about the architecture. Here's their gift shop. Wonderful. All right. So let's well, here are some interesting little nano block, the original micro-sized building block. All right. So our tour is actually going to be starting right here. Walk out here and you see a beautiful view of the bridge right there. Should be a nice day. Well, just around the corner, I wish I had seen this earlier. This is the opera kitchen, and looks like they're just starting to get set up. But I probably could have had a little brekkie here, I would imagine. So. On with the tour. So the group is starting to gather right now. There'll be a group of 20 of us, if I'm not mistaken. All right, and here we go. Now, I'm not going to be able to take pictures inside the theater, unfortunately, but look at this. They got all types of shows and concerts here. There's Pavarotti. Wow. Very nice. Okay, we're well into the tour, and it's a little bit difficult, to be honest with you, to give you the full tour, but I'll give you as best as I can.
It could be. We have found those in our house around, so I can't see, but it will be one of those two.
Look at the,
Your piano player?
uh,
All right, so you probably worked out we are actually in the restaurant that was designed originally by Wilson. It's called Benelong Restaurant. And this is the only part of the opera house that has never changed its purpose. So it was in the competition, and he had it on his entry in this spot, and it has never been anything except the restaurant from that day to this. So quite remarkable. Everything else has been through some kind of change. But it's also a good spot to talk about how we got the sails, which is the top section of the building. So by the time the podium was well underway, it turned out, or it was a good time to start thinking about how are they going to create the sail shapes that had been part of Utsen's design. And that was not as easy as it sounded, because Utsen wanted to have like a cluster of these sail shapes that were all different sizes, different shapes, different kinds of curves within them as well as between them. And what Ove Arup, the structural engineer, wanted was something that could be, from a practical point of view, made. So I should just say, I think one minute, that's fine, just stay in this area, don't go in amongst the tables. So Ove Arup wanted something that was basically easy to make, and different shapes and sizes and curves, that was really kind of not compatible with that concept. And they had thought that steel reinforced concrete, which was a new thing in the 60s, was going to provide the solution for them. But it turned out not to be quite as easy to work for them as they had thought. The other thing that they both wanted was they wanted for the design, whatever it was, to be self-supporting, because again, you couldn't have pillars going through it, because if you had, it was okay in here, but if you had pillars in the ones that cover the theatres, then those pillars would have been going down through the theatres, and that would have been blocking the visuals for people watching performances. So these were some really important considerations they had to take in to come up with the design. And they tried really hard to work together to come up with something. They came up with 16 different design concepts, and they were testing them and modelling and doing all those kinds of things. Only one of them came close. It was probably number 16, and it was a Perspex model. Or they got it as far as a Perspex model, but it didn't quite fit the bill. So Utsen, in some despair, was packing away the model, and he noticed that the pieces of the sails kind of fit together. Not perfectly, but kind of. And from that point, he realized that if those pieces actually had the same curvature, the same radius, basically, for their curvature, then they would be able to be manufactured easily, because you could use the geometry of something with the same radius to make it. And the item that has the same radius all the way around is a sphere. And he worked out that if it was a spherical shape that they based these pieces on, then they would be able to replicate the pieces over and over again, which meant that Arup would be able to recreate the pieces easily in a manufacturing kind of way. But it would still give those curves and the different sizes that Utsen wanted to have.
She's showing how they...
Just outside the box office foyer. I'll point out where it is on the way out. But yeah, so he said, right, I'm going to need something to explain this to people who don't really understand what I'm saying. And so that's where he made arranged to have the wooden version of it made, that he could then pack into his bag, bring over to Sydney, and show the people here what he had.
Boy, it really is a fascinating tour, but I'm somewhat limited in my ability to share it all with you. But I think something will be better than nothing. Look at the... If I can give you a view from inside here. And up we go into I'm assuming it's one of the main main sales. Look at this. And we're not allowed to film inside the theater. Look at that.
Underneath the sales that are on the right hand side if you're looking from the city. So this is a great place to have a look at how the sails were actually made. And I'm going to use the one behind me here just as an example. So all the sails are exactly the same as each other, except for their size and orientation. So they all start with this fan-like base, which you can also see on the other side. And then coming out of the top, you can see there are these large beams that are kind of like fingers. We actually call them ribs. Each of those ribs has 3 sections in it, and then at the top they're joined together by a capstone. So it's kind of like 2 shells that come together at a hinge at the top, with these ribs running down through them, and then a solid base at the end.
Are these different shapes on the bottom, are they structural or just ornamental? These like the shape
The
on the
dots
bottom.
and squares and things.
Yeah, like
So the patterns you can see on them, these are were used in building, like in the actual construction process. They're left there to be part of the story of the construction. Yeah. So with the important part of this design is those 3 pieces that make up the ribs. Those 3 pieces are exactly the same on every single sail, every single shell, throughout the entire building. So all 10 of the sails are exactly the same. Those 3 pieces are exactly the same. The only thing that varies is their length. So what they worked out is they could make all the different heights of the sails. So we saw the little ones in the restaurant, we've got the biggest ones just out here. We can make all those different heights just by varying the length of those 3 pieces, right? And putting them together in different combinations. So all it took for them to make those different variations is 14 different lengths. So just 14 different versions they could combine in enough ways to come up. And the only one that has the entire 14 lengths in it is the largest of the sails, where it goes from shortest to longest in terms of height. So what that means is that the manufacturers are doing 14 different ways over and over and over again. Like if they do one on one side, out in the forecourt or the inside on the display, they set up basically a big factory. And what they did is they needed to look white because that was the colour that would capture and reflect the colours and the lights of the harbour. But he was quite a perfectionist, and he ended up spending 3 years working with the Swedish company Höganäs to create just the perfect tile for the job. So these are ceramic tiles. They're made of clay and chamois, which is a material that you add in to give it a kind of rustic feel. They have been baked and dipped in the ceramic material a second time and then baked again. So they're double baked tiles. This makes them very durable and also very easy to clean. So all it takes for us to clean the vertical surfaces is actually a shower of rain. It washes almost all the dirt right off. So we're giving them a nice clean for you at the moment.
Alright, so continuing on with the tour. Kind of reminds me of taking the tour of the Parliament building in Budapest. Look at that. There's an entrance into the balcony. I think I might actually see if I can attend a show while I'm here. Look at this. Boy, I bet there's been some wonderful performances in this building. Oh, look at this. For your intermission.
late and I need to make sure we keep moving. Okay, so this is the North Foyer of the Jones Sutherland Theatre, and basically this is very much how Utzon would have envisaged this. It had these glass curtains coming from the sails and down into this area. Now, the glass was really important to Utzon because he saw the foyers as being a place where they had a strong visual connection between the theatres and the outside. So it was like when you came out of the theatre that you were coming directly out into the outside area. So the glass really works here. But this design actually is not Utzon's design. It was his idea, but not his design. Because what happened was at this point, by the time they got to doing the interiors, they were already 7 years and $32 million into the 3-year, $7 million budget. So they were well over. And there had been an election, and that election had resulted in a change of government. And, sorry, just moving over. And the new government did what most governments want to do after they've won power for the first time, is they wanted to fix the problems that the last government had left. So they decided they were going to start tightening up on the contract conditions that Utzon was working under. And so when it came to this was the first time, or one of the very first times that glass was being used as a structural.
Here's another view right here.
Just quickly on some of the other materials, we have the granite here. This is both inside and outside the building. It has come from a combination of places depending on the timing of it being put in.
Look at that.
This original granite came from Orange in New South Wales. Some of the other granite came from other places in New South Wales and also,
All right, so we're wrapping up the tour, and they're going to give us a little bonus because of the rain and the other theater is being worked on at the moment. So we're going to see a digital representation or version of what you might see in a concert. All right, on our way out, I could give you a view of the inside of the theater, if only from the images that you see here. Look at that. Very nice tour. Very, very nice. This is the concert hall under construction. All right, folks. Hope you enjoyed the tour as best as I was able to give it to you.